How to get Wi-Fi with only a stone. You're standing in the middle of nowhere, no cell towers for miles, no internet infrastructure, no cables buried underground connecting you to the rest of the world. Just you, a stone, and the question that brought you here. How is any of this possible? Well, it's not. And that's exactly what makes this interesting. The premise seems ridiculous. You can't get Wi-Fi with a stone. You can't get Wi-Fi with anything you find lying around. Wi-Fi requires electricity, broadcasting equipment, routers, servers in distant data centers. It requires this entire invisible architecture that we've collectively built over the last 30 years. A stone has none of those things. A stone is just a rock. And yet, the fact that you're asking this question tells me something. You're wondering if there's a trick, if there's something we've all missed, if somehow, somewhere, someone figured out how to cheat the system. Let me back up. In 1897, a man named Guglielmo Marconi was experimenting with electromagnetic waves. He had no idea what he was doing, not really. He was shooting electricity through the air and seeing what happened. And what happened was revolutionary. He discovered that you could transmit information wirelessly. You didn't need wires. You didn't need physical connections. You just needed the right frequency, the right power, and something on the other end to receive it. Now here's where the stone comes in. Everything is made of atoms. Atoms have electrons. Electrons move. When electrons move, they create electromagnetic fields. Electromagnetic fields are waves, and waves travel through the air just like the ones Marconi discovered. This means that technically every single object around you, including the stone, is constantly emitting electromagnetic radiation. It's doing it right now. It's been doing it since it formed. The question isn't whether the stone is broadcasting, the question is whether you can turn that noise into a signal. This is where most people's understanding breaks down. They think Wi-Fi is magic. They think the signal just appears. But Wi-Fi is just electromagnetic waves at a specific frequency, around 2.4 gigahertz, that carry digital information. That information is organized into packets. Each packet is instructions. Download this image, load this website, send this message. The router translates what you want into waves. Your device translates the waves back into what you want. That's all it is. So, could a stone do this? Could it organize its atomic vibrations into meaningful information? Could it broadcast at exactly 2.4 gigahertz with enough power and precision to reach your device? No, absolutely not, and here's why. Stones are too cold. At room temperature, the atoms in a stone are vibrating, but they're vibrating randomly. Brownian motion, thermal noise, it's chaos. To broadcast a signal, you need coordination. You need billions upon billions of atoms all moving in precisely the same way at precisely the same moment. You need them to sustain that pattern for long enough to transmit data. A stone can't do that any more than a mob of randomly shouting people can have a conversation. But there's a deeper problem. Even if you could somehow force a stone's atoms into perfect synchronization, even if you could create a coherent electromagnetic wave, you'd have almost no power. The energy required to broadcast a Wi-Fi signal comes from electricity. It flows through circuits, it's focused, it's amplified. The thermal vibrations in a stone are dissipated. They're spreading out in every direction. They're weak, absurdly weak. You'd need a stone the size of Jupiter with the surface temperature of the Sun to generate enough power to reach even 1 meter. So we're back where we started. You can't get Wi-Fi from a stone. It's physically impossible. But wait, there's another way to interpret this question. What if getting Wi-Fi with only a stone doesn't mean the stone is generating the signal? What if it means the stone is helping you access it? What if you're somewhere remote with no internet infrastructure, and somehow you're using a stone to solve that problem? Well, now we're talking about something real. In 2019, a company called Softcard developed a technology that could transmit data through the ground using low-frequency electromagnetic waves. The system used conductive materials buried underground, essentially creating a massive antenna network through the Earth itself. It was designed for remote locations where traditional infrastructure was impossible. And what did they use to help bury these antennas? Stones, rock formations, natural geological features that could conduct electricity better than soil alone. Is that what this is about? Using stones as part of a larger infrastructure? Technically, yes, but you need more than one stone. You need a whole network. You need a power source. You need equipment. A single stone won't do it. There's also the method of stone skipping information across water. This is speculative, but bear with me. If you could somehow encode data into the ripples created by a skipping stone, and if you had receivers positioned along the shore reading those ripples, you could theoretically transmit information. But the bandwidth would be impossibly low. You'd need hours to send a single image. And more practically, why would you ever do this when you have literally every other technology available? Here's the actual answer, though. You can't get Wi-Fi with only a stone. It's not possible. The laws of physics don't allow it. The infrastructure doesn't allow it. The technology doesn't allow it. But the reason this question exists, the reason it's interesting, is because we've become so dependent on instantaneous wireless connectivity that we've stopped asking how it actually works. We've stopped wondering about the invisible waves filling the air around us right now. We've stopped marveling at the fact that information is traveling through space at the speed of light, entering your skull, being interpreted by your brain, and creating meaning. That's the real magic, not Wi-Fi from a stone. That's physics being boring and predictable and following the rules we've already established. The magic is that we figured out the rules in the first place, that we took the random thermal vibrations in matter, the electromagnetic waves that have existed since the universe began, and we harnessed them, we organized them, we made them carry human language and human thought and human connection across impossible distances. A stone can't do that, but neither could you 300 years ago. Nobody could. And now, right now, you're using a device connected to one of the most complex systems humanity has ever created. You're doing it casually. You're probably not even thinking about it. The infrastructure is so seamless, so reliable, that the Wi-Fi signal has become invisible again. Maybe that's what this question is really asking. How did something so impossible become so ordinary? How did we get here? And the answer, the real answer, is that it took centuries of people asking smaller questions first. Marconi asked if you could transmit signals without wires. Then someone asked if you could do it from farther away. Then someone asked if you could do it with less power. Then someone asked if multiple people could use the same frequency. Then someone figured out digital packets. Then someone invented the router. Then someone invented the protocol. Each person solved one problem. They didn't need a stone. They didn't need magic. They just needed to understand one small piece of the puzzle and add it to everything that came before. And now, with nothing but the technology in your hand and the invisible waves in the air, you can access almost all of human knowledge. You can talk to anyone, anywhere, instantly. That's not something a stone could ever do. But maybe that's what makes it interesting. We didn't need a stone. We figured out something better.